Oh,
Hey everybody, welcome.
Hey.
How'd everything?
hi.
Hi, please unmute yourself so we can chat a little bit beforehand. Oh, here's somebody else. Okay.
All right. Oh, so good to see all of you. Happy holidays.
Okay, wait, we got somebody else.
You too.
Invite. Well,
Everybody's coming,
I think we
Kathy.
got everyone's in here. Who's
Oh,
supposed
this is fabulous.
All right, we'll just keep letting people in. All right,
Yeah.
well, welcome to everybody. I think you know me. I'm Valerie Hector, and this is Maggie Meister. Maggie, please raise your hand. And Laura. Laura's going to be our co-host. I'm going to say some things, and whatever I forget, Laura's going to chime in. And Laura's going to lead the meeting too. So she's going to call on people in, whatever order seems best. We are expecting up to about 20 people tonight, but we know it is the holidays and some people won't make it. So we're just going to show one necklace each first to begin with. And then if we get completely around the circle, then we'll show our second necklace. If you'd rather not show, you don't have to. Just say, I'll pass this time. What else do I want to tell you? If you could wait until the presenter is finished before you ask questions. And if you could raise your hand, now it's under where you can raise your hand is, it's under the heart-shaped react button on the lower portion of your screen. You probably already know this. It's just new to me. Raise your hand and then one of us will call on you and you can ask your question or whatever. Um, we thought
And
that
if
we,
you
go ahead,
can't
Laura.
raise your hand, like I just realized that I can just see you if you raise your hand.
You can also just do it the old-fashioned way and raise your hand.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you. What else? We thought we'd speak for about 2 minutes or so each. More people may come or not. I mean, who knows? We'll just take it as it comes. We're glad you could all join us. We know it's a holiday weekend and it's kind of an unusual little evening here. And Laura, do you want to take it over from here?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So, what I thought I would do, I've done a bunch of Zooms, so I figured I'd do it kind of the same way I usually do, which is to kind of go through and I'm going to read you guys off in the sort of order that you appear on my screen. What I'll do is I'm going to have you speak for a couple of minutes. Share whatever you want to share with us. And then before we move on to the next person, I'm just going to, see if anybody has questions. That'll be the time to ask questions. So that way you can get through everything you have to say, and then we can do the questions. And we'll just kind of go round and round. Certainly, if you don't want to share anything, you're welcome to be here for the party. There's no requirement that you've brought something to show. Just tell me you're all set, and we'll go on to the next person. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna make Maggie start because yeah, she's gonna start us
Of
off.
course you are. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Happy holidays to all of you. I hope you had a good first day of Hanukkah or Merry Christmas Day. I'm exhausted from baking and cooking, and I'm not. I mean, I did literally 5 days of all of it. I'm done. So, but anyway, we're talking about necklaces tonight, and I'm revamping my studio for the thousandth time, and I came across some of the first pieces I've ever designed, and this is one that I have done a lot. I mean, this had to be 2003, 2004, and it's based on the inlaid marble floors, the Cosmati technique of inlaying marble in a lot of the floors in cathedrals, churches, and whatever. And it's the medallions are. Whoops, sorry. Can you see that? The
Yeah.
medallions start with the center of that focal piece, and it's circular brick. And then I went to regular brick, and then I out. Now this is really interesting because I probably should change this, but at this time, I use lead solder in here to cover to make the rounded shape that I could. Now, I think it could be done differently now, and I probably should reevaluate it due to health regulations or whatever. But that's what I did with this one. And it was one of the first pieces I ever designed. And the what do you call it? The chain is right angle weave tubular, which I didn't know I was doing tubular because I think I was still doing it where you made a flat piece and zipped it up. Okay. This you're talking 2004. All right. So that's what that is. And this is my piece. La Colonna Cosmati, it's called. That's me.
I love it. It's beautiful. And the color's so subtle too. What beads are those?
They're all at this point they're delicate. Wait a minute, I actually used, oh my goodness, this can't be. I used size 15s. I used the center section was all delicates, cylinders. Okay. This is all 15s.
Okay.
I was nuts. And the chain is 11s, so that wasn't too bad there. So
beautiful.
But I think I should revamp it. So
I like
Awesome.
it.
Any of you guys have questions? You can either raise or fancy raise your hand, however.
No? So how did you how did you make the outline around the negative space? I mean, the negative space in your piece is just as fantastic as the positive space.
Becca, I love you. Have I told you, Becca, that I love you so much? I don't know. I know that, you know what, looking back then, I think I probably would like to have filled this in, this negative space in, and decided how the heck to do it. Okay. And I probably would try to do it now, but in looking at it, I kind of like it as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the floors here, let's say this is a cathedral floor or something. In between all of these spaces would probably be a neutral color of marble. So instead of doing that, I left it open. And I have to be honest, it's only because I didn't know what I was doing. I was really just learning. Okay. And I do like the negative. Thank you, Becca. Yeah, I'm not going to fill it. Actually, I have a piece, Becca, that I found, and I was going to do it, and it has all this negative space. Thanks to you, I'm not going to fill it in. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's gorgeous. I love the colors.
I used a chartreuse type green, and a burgundy and matte gold back then. I really liked, and that was before ICOs came out. So it was the matte gold DB31M or something. It's a matte.
Cool. Excellent. Other questions? Anyone? No? Ready to move on? Next up on my screen is Joanie. So it's your turn. Let's see, you're on mute still, I think.
Okay, did that work?
That works.
Okay. So this is a piece that Kathy and I were at an art show, and this woman came in with a necklace on that was just like this cylindrical silver thing. I was trying to find the picture, but I couldn't. And it had some tassel hanging off of it. And I said, "Where'd you get that?" She said, "Chico's." And I said, "Do you mind if I take the picture?" And she said, "No." So I took a picture of it, and I said, "I'm going to try to recreate it in beads." And so Kathy and I did try to recreate it, and
oh my God,
we've called it barrique. And so, which is, Kathy, you can jump in. I think it's Italian for barrel, because it looks like like one of those Japanese or Chinese lantern barrels.
Yes,
Lantern barrels, but like a little barrel. So what we did is I just started with a band. Terrible lighting. Started with a band, which is better. A beads inside, which you can see down. That's that zest delica, and then added some layers on top, and then closed up the top, closed up the bottom, and put a tassel on it, of course, and then some little doohickey up here, and a Laura closure.
It's fabulous.
It's pretty, and so we made. I know we don't have time, but so we did a blue and silver one. And Kathy took the pattern, and she did I love this one. This is out of, what's the color? The Earth Batik with the, my lighting is awful. There you go.
1010, GB 1010,
Probably Earth Batik, yeah. And
GB 1010, maybe. I don't know. That's what I used to use for Earth Batik, but I don't know that that was the name of it. But
I don't know if that's the actual, I know it's called Earth Batik. And then she did one out of black and bronze. And the barrel on this one is more, fatter in the middle and more like a wine barrel. So anyway, I've yet to write a real pattern on it, but so that's Barik.
Beautiful. And don't you love when you look at something and you see, I think I can do that in beads.
Yeah.
That's to me the most fun of all of it, But
yeah, it is. It doesn't always turn out the way you want it to, but
of course.
But and it's hollow inside, so we could put things in there. That's it.
Awesome. Any questions, you guys? Camille?
Is doohickey a technical term?
Yes.
I thought so.
How we all answered. Yes.
You know what a doohickey, yeah. Yeah, it was probably this closure that I did. Often I don't know what the heck I'm doing, not like Maggie, but like Maggie said, because I'm still learning. So I create something, and if I don't write it down, I can never do it again. So anyway, that's doohickey.
It's lovely. And that is definitely a technical term. I think it's in the beading addiction.
Definitely.
So if it isn't, it should be.
Exactly.
The fringes are all beads, all 15s, and sewn onto a piece of grosgrain and tucked up in there so it all stays really even end.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually Jill Wiseman's technique that she does it. She actually, she takes them, she does a long strip, and then she just does the fringe, all the way down, and then rolls the fringe up and then shoves it inside the bead cap.
Fabulous way to do it. That's great.
Wow.
Really cool way. So give her the credit.
And so what's the structure that you build around? Again, I think I missed that.
I just took you can see it's from here to here is, I don't have my notes with me, but it's just a strip of peyote in delicas. And then I just joined it and then started adding things on top of it, layering it. So it's 3-dimensional. So underneath here this is all just delicas underneath there.
Got it.
Probably could be done differently, but it gives it more structure. And what we wanted to do is there's these little beads. I don't think you can see them. They're called one beads, and they're a funny shape. They're shaped like an egg. And we have them, and we've been trying to use them. So in this project, I tried to use these beads. Well, they're horrible, and
They're
switched
failures.
Yeah, they're just failures. So they're no good. So,
but we have a whole bunch of them.
so you've got to use them.
Cool. Well, any other questions?
Well, are they bugle beads on the side?
Yes, they're the fat bugle beads.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a fatter. Terrible. Is that better? Yeah, they're fatter bugle beads, and then some bugle beads, and then the little round beads, and then crystals around here, and then the bottom is just closed up and flat.
It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
You can probably see it better on this one. You can see the fat bugle beads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those big ones. Those things are cool. Those are nice. They've got good structure because you end up going through that bugle bead multiple times for all the lacing and the decoration.
Well, you have to anyway because they're usually sharp, aren't they? And you want to make sure that they're.
Oh, Nancy.
Yeah, and Nancy, those particular bugle beads, those fat, shorter ones, they're not sharp. I mean, they're not nearly as sharp as those other ones.
Really?
They're more substantial. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I'm familiar with those.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we get them on Etsy.
Okay.
where you get everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best place, the best source.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, Diane, you're next up.
Hello.
I have to say, before I start on showing you my necklace, my mission these days is two things. One is to make daily wearable jewelry rather than all the elaborate stuff that you love to make, but you never wear. Because I don't know about you, but I never have occasions enough for all the jewelry that I own. So I'm on a mission to make things that I can wear every day. If I feel like putting them on with a pair of jeans, I can do that. And the other thing is to use some of the things that are in my stash. And we all know that we accumulate way too much stuff over years of beading. I've been beading off and on in my life for over 50 years. So I've accumulated an awful lot of stuff. And yes, things have
You're
evolved,
not that old, Diane. Oh my God, you can't.
thank you. But yes, I am.
That's a good life. Anyway, I'm
So
sorry.
I'm going to show you one that is one of my most recent ones, and I'm quite pleased with it because I dug around in my stash and I found all the things I needed. And now this is going to be tricky.
Yeah.
What?
So
Hey.
it's abalone and stone. And my challenge on this one was I had two pieces of abalone, but I wanted to bezel them as one. So I started building the base. I mean, you guys all know the bezel technique, I'm sure. Started building the base, just one row of base in between, and then I started building it around both of them together, and then embellished the strip between. So I was quite pleased with the way it came out. It's very wearable, and it's not too big. And my thing is that I want a finished piece that I can just pull off my shelf and put on. So I'm making mostly strung neck straps to go with them. So that's my goal these days.
Very nice. What about the necklace you're wearing, please? This
Oh, another one that's similar where it's just a strung. This was based on a trip to the Czech Republic. I went to the Czech Republic and came home with way too many beads. Like I think it was 6 kilos of beads, and it's just for me.
of course.
And so then my goal was that I needed to use those things in a piece. So this is my Czech, and it's a Czech coin in the middle. So that's
Lovely.
what's her name? The one the Dutch lady that does Travelers. You guys all know this.
Anya?
No. Anyway, she started this with coins, and I've been
Clara?
playing with it because I have a lot of coins, and they're just great fun to work with because they're a nice flat, regular surface. Great fun. And so this is a Czech coin with all Czech beads. Everything that's in it is stuff I bought on that trip.
That's
So that
fabulous.
was fun.
Both pieces are wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
again, little wearable, stuff that you can put on every single day. And that's sort of my goal. And to have things like that I can give to other people or sell to other people so that they're not elaborate, wear once and put in your closet type pieces, right?
We call those coronation pieces.
Yes. And we all have way more party pieces than we have parties to go to.
And
Yeah.
particularly since COVID. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, this is true.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you. Those are awesome. Any questions? No?
Were you thinking of Cottolin? Is that her name? Kata? No.
No.
Okay.
It'll come to me. Just I'll pipe up when it
Okay.
re-enters my brain.
well,
Diane,
You'll all know her name because she's been quite active in the beading world these days. She's yeah, it'll come.
I do have a question. When you use something like a coin, and that's bead embroidery,
Always bead embroidery. Yeah,
Okay.
that's my thing.
God
are you
bless.
ever concerned about putting it on a backing and so that you're diminishing the value of the coin?
No, I don't worry about that.
Because
No.
the thing about buttons and not cutting the shanks off of buttons and stuff.
Oh, really?
I'm not a collector except in terms of things I can use. So if a coin is in my collection, it's more sentimental. It's not something that I'm looking at future values on. No, not at all.
Well, I'm the same way, but sometimes I wonder whether I shouldn't use something because
No, you need to get over that.
You can
Also-
with
Also, yeah, I'm sorry, Laura. Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say with the buttons, because I collect buttons and I like to use them. is you can, like, if they're shank button, like for me, I tend to bezel them on a piece of leather. So what I'll do is punch a hole in the leather, push the shank through the hole, then bezel it, and not glue it down to the leather, just just kind
Oh,
of.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, you could just cut it out if if you were trying to cash in on your highly collectible button. That's
And
what I use.
my collectible buttons are used for clasps, actually.
Oh.
The
Very
button
good
and loop is
idea.
my
Good idea.
go-to for most things because when you have arthritic hands, it's something everybody can do and undo behind their back.
Right.
And I have a lot of elderly ladies that I work with, so that's something I've been developing for them more and more. Everything gets done with buttons and loops.
Nice. Nice.
And so Dan, what's the background that you were bezeling the abalone to?
I use ultra suede.
Okay.
I always use ultra suede because I have bags of it. So I work on a layer of regular ultra suede and then I back it in a thin ultra suede. So it's 2 layers of ultra suede. And if something needs further stabilization, which when you have multi-stones, it often does, I use milk, excuse me, milk jugs, plastic milk jugs,
Oh, that's a good idea.
because they
Great
don't ever degrade. And you can cut them with a pair of scissors and you can't sew through them. You have to make them small enough that you have a border to work with. But they're incredible for that kind of thing.
And you're reusing them in a way
I
that's
am.
Now you're
throwing them in
recycling.
the landfill. Good for
They go a
you.
long ways. You can get a lot of pieces of jewelry out of a milk jug.
Okay, I love it.
Awesome. Excellent. Cool. Well, Becca, would you like to go?
Thank you. I brought this. This is an older piece, and I'm hoping, is it coming into focus?
No.
Not yet. Give it a minute. Let me put both my fingers up there, and it'll probably come into
Pull back a
focus.
little, pull more towards you.
Okay, there we go.
There you
Now it's
go.
in focus.
There you go.
So, this is actually a piece of marble, believe it or not. And when I pulled it out, I thought immediately, oh, well, Maggie's going to be here, and it's marble.
Oh, I'm just dying. My birthday just passed December 7th, if you're into belated gifts. That is fabulous.
Actually, so these are 11O Picasso beads and a turquoise accent. And I actually made the cord before I did the bezeling here. And it's not a right angle weave bezel, it's just a peyote bezel. And you can see the other side too. It's not quite as nice as the front side. But I had intended it for actually a turquoise aventurine cab that I had, but I ended up deciding it was just too much turquoise all in one place. So I chose this one instead, and then I had to learn how to do a triangle, and it turns out it's not that hard. And the rope is actually from a Bead and Button magazine, and it's called Cinch Stitch, and it's by Isabella Lamb. And when she showed it was in both major bead magazines. This was like around 2017 or 2018 when they were coming out. And she showed it with crystals and delicas, but I don't use a lot of crystals, and I like stone. So I made it, and then I love these Picasso beads. And so
Yeah.
I made it in my own colorway.
And I love the stitch. I love the chain a lot.
It's a really nice, robust chain, and you can make it thicker or thinner depending on how many times around you go. It's pretty flexible.
And also, I love the what do you call that thing? The tog, what that goes over the pendant that you loop it on, whatever that is.
The bail.
The bail. Thank you. I love the bail, and I love how it's multicolored. That's really cool. I mean, you blended different colored beads. Am I correct, or is that all just?
Well, it was a mix, and so I was just pulling them out of a mix as I went. But I was also, unfortunately, I cheat with mixes, and if I get two beads in a row and they're just too close, I have to change it around.
Who doesn't? We all do. I love it, and it really gives a look of marble. The whole thing, I love it. I absolutely
Oh,
love it.
thanks. Thanks.
Excellent. Cool. Any questions?
Yeah, what was the name of the technique again?
It's called cinch stitch, and it was invented by Isabella Lamb, Lam.
She's
I
out
think.
of the UK.
Pardon?
You what, Maggie?
She's out of the UK, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought she was Israeli.
Oh, you know what? You may be right. I don't know.
I don't know her. I just
I don't either. Somebody gave me a ride to the airport one time in the UK, and it was Isabella, but it may not have been her. It was just another Isabella.
Oh, it looks like it's a spiral, like a spiral rope, kind of.
Yeah.
It actually, to me, it's a little bit of a takeoff of a bit of right angle weave, but I don't know. It was a pretty interesting stitch, and I just thought, well, I'll give it a try, and got out, all my colors that I was going to use, and a different cab, and made it, and then decided that this would be a better cab to use with it.
I love it.
Beautiful.
I think she is from Israel. I'm sorry. I was confusing her with somebody from the UK. But I think she's Israeli.
Anyway, it's a neat stitch.
It is a beautiful stitch.
Good to know.
Thanks.
Okay, next up, Sue. Yeah, you're on mute too, so cool.
Well, hi, everyone. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Sue. How are you? I love what is in your hair? It's gorgeous. I love the headband.
Thank you all.
Good
San
to see you.
Antonio.
Good to see you.
Yeah, my name says SABS because that stands for the San Antonio Bead Society. I'm kind of like their Zoom Meister. And I'm so smart I can't figure out how to turn it off.
Well,
Anyways, doesn't matter. My name is Sue for everybody who doesn't know me. In fact, Maggie, I'm sure you won't remember this, but remember that Tyler bead retreat? Long time ago, Tyler, Texas?
yeah.
This was a necklace I made for a class that I was teaching there. And this was right when the quad tiles came out. And I was a Starman trendsetter, and so they would send us these weird beads, and we'd have to try and do something with them really quickly in a month, and then send everything to them and wait and see if they'd pick something. And then if they did, you had to remember how you made it because they wrote the tutorial for you, which was lovely. So these components here, they're using the quad tile. Now, I don't know if you can, they're quite dimensional, but those are the quad tiles going around the bottom.
Okay.
And they kind of stand up quite a bit. And I made a mistake, and that's how this bottom one got made. Boy, this light is really, really bright. Let me see if I can. Nope. Wrong way. There, that's better. So this one ended up, I went through the wrong hole of the quad tile, and it got wider. So I called this part the focal pendant.
I love it. Good for you.
And like that other lady was saying, I had to hurry up and write down what my mistake was so I could remember it. So that's just, I based on the quad tiles and just made these other little things. And, it helps when you use Swarovski double AB crystal. It makes it quite blingy. But the funnest part, and it's the bane to my existence or of my existence, is naming my pieces.
Oh, yeah.
This one came easy because I had my previous one I named after my eldest daughter, and my youngest daughter got jealous. So this was named Christina.
Hey, I gotcha.
But naming things, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah, it is hard.
It's you pick it because of the color, but then you make one with a different color, and then the name doesn't fit anymore. You name it after the bead, but then I never know.
I think it either comes to you immediately, or you just have to let it sit and figure out what the heck am I going to name.
Yeah,
That's how
the blue necklace.
yeah. But it's a beautiful piece.
But well, thank you.
The whatchamacallit.
Very elegant. Elegant. Really kind
My-
of
The
odd
doohickey,
necklace.
yeah.
My mistake necklace, but
Yeah.
What are you
Makes it
wearing
good.
around your neck?
oh,
Yeah, I was just
this
gonna ask you that.
is. Let me just go down here a bit. I had, oh boy, that got really bright there. I had just gotten back from Alaska, and this is a piece of fur. I think it's wolf. And I got back in time to attend a Kelly Dale retreat because I now live in South Carolina and she's just up the road. And these were components she gave us to make a bag, a clutch. And I never do what I'm told. So I just, embroidered it onto just a regular piece of lacy stiff stuff. And then I had this in my bag as I just gotten back from Alaska. So all of a sudden I pulled it out during class and started stitching it onto the back of this component. And fur was going all over the room. It was kind of crazy. So I had to quickly check to make sure nobody's allergic to wolf. Then these bits hanging on the bottom, they're dentilium. They're critters and they only grow in really, really, really cold climate water
Really?
under.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, they're called dentilium and the indigenous use them a lot, but not in the middle of the US indigenous, but indigenous that live on the coast of cold waters like Finland and Alaska and northern BC. Being Canadian, I like to do things that are using my Canadian indigenous people like the Haida and the Shimshimian and Tinglet. Those are all the Alaskan indigenous. So these are just shells where little mollusks used to live in them. And
They're
you can,
beautiful. I just Googled them. They're gorgeous.
yeah, and they're not expensive. Now you have to do a little work when you order them because you'll get a bag of them. They'll be all different lengths and shapes and the tip and the other end, you have to file them a little bit because they're irregular. And then when you're filing them, sometimes they break. Don't drop and step on them because they break. I used to have earrings that match these, but I stepped on them, so they don't exist anymore. But they
I've
hang
never
really
heard of them.
interesting.
They're fabulous. They're
And
fabulous.
and the fact that they're hollow, you can just curve an eye pin or head pin and just stick it up there, or you can sew up there. So I actually used a tila. I've got a couple half tilas on the top here, just kind of separating them a little bit to give them some separation. But so that's what this is. Thanks for noticing it. My piece of wolf, my piece of fur.
I love the story.
Awesome.
Yep. You got to use what you've got, right? What's that?
Amen.
Yep.
Thank you for asking me.
Well, Camille, you're up next.
Okay, I'm with the go with what you have in your stash and see if you
Go,
can't do
girl.
something with it. And
Yeah.
I got desperately bored last year, so I just went through my stash and made this,
Oh,
which is just basically right angle weave out of 11s and 15s in different shapes.
I love it.
And I'm not really sure how well it's coming over, but it's just all sorts of earth tones, and the one that just sort of pulls the thing all together is just a 15 metallic, and it's just attached with a right angle weave. And I was making different shapes and just different colors, and got it to where it will hang, provided you have this thing at the back of your neck, then this
Okay.
will hang appropriately in the front instead of elbowing out inappropriately. So that's that. It was
I
fun.
love it. It's gorgeous.
You
know
what
else?
is cool? It's that's a wearable piece. Oh, very much so. Yeah.
I
could see wearing that with a little black dress, but also wearing it with a pair of jeans.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, I wear it quite a bit,
Great piece.
and it's fairly robust. It will take a fair amount of abuse, which is a good thing with me. So, yeah, but it was fun, and so
Love
that's
it.
it.
Now,
So
did you-
is it cubic right angle weave or is it flat right angle weave?
Cubic.
Okay, that's it's hard for me to see exactly. It's lovely.
Yeah. I don't know if that helps any.
Yeah, that helps.
but,
Yeah, and um, what I
this
wound up
is
doing
fun.
with some of it, like the larger circles, I just increased the number of beads on the outside.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so you've got a 15 on the inside and maybe an 11 in the middle, and then covered up my holes with the 15s again, so that
Yeah.
it just sort of pulls it together, kind of.
Oh,
I
it's
have a-
lovely.
It's fabulous. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Did you just make the pieces for fun and then decide to put them together, or did you have this necklace in mind?
I had the necklace in mind, and I've got a dress form, so the poor thing looked like a voodoo doll by the time I got it finished.
Oh
Yeah,
my
just
gosh.
stuck them out everywhere.
Oh no.
Figured out what worked with each
That's
other.
not an easy thing to do. That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's one of the ways that I figured out to get it to just hang like, a civilized piece instead of having elbows out to the side and, going places it shouldn't go.
That's
But
awesome.
Lovely, lovely.
thank you. It was fun. Yeah.
It's kind of
As
fun
I
when
say, Valerie, Laura, and I are going to be listing our birthdays in the chat. And when, just in case.
and we
Just
need
in
Laura's birthday is next week or this week.
I know. And actually,
Today.
please, I'm kidding. I'm really kidding because I did that to somebody once and they sent me a necklace.
Yeah, I made some earrings to go with.
No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
that's great.
Nice.
Those are
No,
cool.
I'm not kidding. So I'm
Great
not
fun.
kidding.
It's dead
Anyway.
easy. If you can do the cubic right angle weave, it's dead easy.
I love cubic right angle weave.
Yeah.
kind of
Wonderful.
fun
Also,
with so many
fantastic.
different components too. It keeps your brain like busy all the time if you're doing all different things rather than a lot of repetition. So
Yeah, and figuring out, well, I want to make a triangle. Well, trying to make a triangle out of right angle weave is not always the easiest thing to do. So, just trying, well, if you shove it this way, it'll work, and, just making weird shapes and seeing what worked and how you can incorporate it into something else. So,
yeah, it's awesome. Very cool.
thank you.
Excellent. Well, Nina, you're up. You're on mute too, so you need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Yes, unmuted. Okay. So this is my octopus's garden. And let's see. All right. So the main components on this are, I'm trying to get this. The main components are polymer clay. So all the octopus and the starfish on here I sculpted those out of polymer clay.
Whoa.
And this is, it's just a very free form. Something unusual about this necklace is this is actually the second version of this. I made the original Octopus's Garden, which was a free form.
Yeah.
And then at the Texas Bead Retreat, Colette taught us this real neat fan type stitch, like here. Yeah, it was a nice free form, but it was, a fan stitch. And I really loved it. So I took apart the original Octopus's Garden that I did. And it took me over 2.5 hours to take apart that necklace. But once I redid it, I love it so much more. I'm a lot happier with the piece.
So you did both the polymer and the beading. God bless you.
Yes, yeah.
And I also think freeform is so difficult. For me,
No,
freeform
freeform is so easy. You don't have to follow a pattern. You really don't.
It's a special talent to make it look like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I did freeform a couple times, and they're all. I think I either threw them out or they're hidden somewhere. Okay, I think freeform is a real talent that not everybody has, and I am the first person to say I surely don't have it.
I love freeform. That's what I do all the time. I'll just take a bead or something, or make a polymer clay component, and then just go with it. And sometimes I'll sketch out the designs on a sketch pad. So I might have like my components and then sketch them. But yeah, to me, it's easier than trying to follow someone's pattern. I do have pattern pieces that I've done, but not often. I'd rather just sit down with my beads and let my beads talk to me and tell me, what, what needs to be done, with them. So, that's yeah. And this is my favorite piece. I still wear it. I don't wear it to the grocery store. I can so relate with the easier stuff. And that's where I'm doing more pendant style and wearing more pendant style now. Because I'm living in blue jeans. So, but I will still wear this one on special occasions.
Why not?
Yeah.
I even see it with blue jeans. And after COVID, I'm thinking you wear what you want when you want with whatever you want.
Well, and when you hit that certain age, you do that anyway. And as an artist, we've done that for years,
Of course we have.
Yeah. So yeah. But
I think the outside of that center component, the way that you did the stitching on the outside, it seriously mimics a nautilus to me. That just really ties the whole thing in a C kind of way. I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, I moved on and now I do Octopus's gardens on fabric. And so I combine the bead embroidery and the polymer clay on fabric and do that now. Because let's face it, if you've been beading for years like I have, you've got so much jewelry that you'll never in your lifetime ever wear everything you've got. So yeah, so I'm trying to use that creative with other outlets. So
can I just ask you quickly, what fabric do you use?
Oh, I usually dye my own fabric. I do like ice dyeing and multimedia. I just happened to be one that I had there.
Okay.
But yeah. So
that is cool.
Nina, can we see the back of that Octopus's garden piece?
Oh no.
No, not your fabric one. That one. Yeah.
The back is every bit as beautiful as the front.
It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Except you don't get to see the octopus on this side.
No.
See how you get all the octopus.
You wouldn't know he was there or she was there.
Yeah. So
beautiful. Thank you.
Hey, Laura, can I show Nina? My freeform little piece?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It'll just take a second. I used a button.
Oh wow,
and some
that's
silver
awesome.
silk.
That looks great.
Kind of looks like a pizza. But I was drawn to this button, and then I just had a leftover piece of fabric from something or other, and I just did stop beading stuff there. And then I figured, well, I put some silver silk around the edge there, and I just tied some silver silk there. And of course I use silver silk for the thing. But yeah, you can whip stuff up really fast and just like you just sew and then you've got something wearable.
Right.
If you're
If I could make another one to match, maybe I could make earrings. But with freeform, you never match. That's not the point, right?
Well, but they don't have to match. Who says they have to match? As long as they, coordinate or whatever. So
nobody's looking at both sides of your head at the same time.
That's right. I walk sideways,
Yeah.
But thank you, Nina. That was a gorgeous necklace.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Very cool.
Okay, next up, Kathy.
Hi. So this doesn't have a name. And I made this a couple of years ago and finally wrote down the pattern, but it is a tassel with a special bail that has little decoration on it, and Russian spiral necklace using 8s, 11s, and 15s. Then I always do like magnetic clasp, but I'm always afraid they're going to come apart. So what I usually do is do something redundant. So the magnetic clasp goes through a loop and then attaches, which sort of defeats the purpose of having the ease of a magnetic clasp, but it's also long enough you can just slip it over your head. But so this is netting and fringe and then just embellishment and peyote. Oh my God, whose arms are those? Oh.
It's really lush.
Oh
Really
my
lush.
God. That's humiliating. Okay.
Oh, come on.
I'm holding it.
That is a really luscious piece. I mean, it's really rich.
Thank you. I just made another one for a commission for a friend who really liked this one. And the one that I just made has more cobalt in it, so that it looks more Egyptian. Oh, look, it looks really nice against this fabric. Okay.
It does.
And this one looks a little bit more Asian, the color combinations, but it has a lot of Picasso beads in it, and a lot of translucent beads because I'd like to see a light through it.
Yeah, it's really luscious. Very luscious.
Thank you. That's it. Oh,
That's it.
Look.
That's it.
look, I'm sorry, just to really, because I was so quick.
Excellent.
Well, I can't see it. What
One
is
of
it?
Laura's earrings, her new earrings, right?
Yeah.
Candelabra earrings.
Oh, wow.
Very
Laura, they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. What a beautiful job you did,
And,
Kathy.
yeah, well, I've done a whole bunch of them. Look at this.
Oh my gosh. Is that your pattern, Laura?
This is Laura's pattern, her free pattern, candelabrum. And I wasn't going to show them, but they're right here.
I'm glad you
Oh, they're
did.
beautiful.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to show them without showing my arm at the same time. That's just
You know what? Look.
so
This is
I'm
why
doing
I tell
I'm-
my kids not to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
Because 40 years they're gonna look like this.
yeah.
Okay.
Would be
And
a way
I
to-
just
Tattoo. You get it
just-
here, your
Pardon?
ankles, and your shoulder. Anyway.
I'm doing one, I turned it upside down, which is the
cool.
newest one that I'm doing. So it's going to be like this, and
Lovely.
then which is really
Yeah, that's really fun. That's excellent. I never thought of that. Would work really
it's really nice upside down.
Yeah.
I'll show you, I'll send you a picture when it's done. Okay, that's me. That's all.
awesome. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Okay. Let's see. Have I covered? I think everybody. Valerie, you are up now.
Nancy. Is Nancy still
Oh yeah,
there?
Nancy's at. Hold on. Let's do Nancy first, and then you can go back. Nancy gets
Great.
to go.
Well, I have this friend who got me started. I don't see myself, so okay. Who taught me that you could use facial features
I
on
love
pieces.
it.
And we all know that this is a Laura design, and I wear them every time I go to the eye doctor because it freaks him out.
Oh, you're so
But
funny. Yes.
So I was looking to see if there was a theme in my work, and as it happens, there is. I've gotten to the female figure, and you'll notice that they're anatomically correct.
Oh, they are? Yeah.
With, okay, so that was one.
Oh, I see. I get it.
Okay,
Sorry.
then there's
slow.
this one
Oh my gosh.
that, and then the one that I wear most often, and although I see that some of the stone is starting to disintegrate,
Oh,
and
wow.
you can't really see the face, but again, I'm into the female form, which I have no idea why that happened.
Doesn't matter.
Goddesses,
Other
they
than I lived
rule,
with
they
another
rule.
woman for 43 years, but and so I just have fun playing with things in stash stones, and I'll find a face and create something. This piece I used as a master clay. I was having trouble with this, and I used it at a bead and button masterclass on Melanie Potter did one on clasps, and I ended up doing this is kind of different because these two pieces are the clasps, and it just goes over that. I female forms, the human form, what eyes, and of course I've done a few more eyes, but this was the first piece,
That is great.
and I have to tell you, she did recently you did another iteration of it, and I was really tempted, and then I was like, no, you've done it, you gotta.
You got
But
plenty
it's so
of
much fun to wear because people freak out.
I love it.
Really,
Love
you
it.
know, is that a real eye? I mean, some
It
people
is.
see the female form, but
Yeah.
sometimes they don't. It's a little bit less overt.
Those are beautiful. They're just
They're really
absolutely
lovely. I
gorgeous.
love it.
They're just gorgeous.
Well done. They're
So
beautiful.
what are the beads around the eye?
Yeah.
Laura?
They are it's bezeled with cylinders and 15s and I think Chuck Charlottes, and then the daggers are the larger
Daggers.
beads.
Okay.
No, this looks like Swarovski crystal.
Oh,
But
2 mil?
daggers, the long,
2
narrow.
millimeter crystals, and then the daggers were terrific.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's a lot of fringe.
That's
It's
one.
gorgeous.
I
yeah,
love
that
I
well,
love
that's
To me,
And-
I'm terrible with fringe. I get really
you
frustrated.
know, but so many
Gorgeous.
times, like Shuri Serafina's
Yes.
you know who I'm talking about. Shuri is the one who has really convinced me that you got to do fringe.
She
Yeah,
puts
well, she
fringe on
tried to
everything.
convince me, and we argued
Fringe
about
is, I mean, and I have some pieces of hers that the whole, the bead embroidery is very basic. It's very simple, but the thing becomes incredible. And that's with the eye, all these
Yeah.
fabulous daggers.
it's
The
fabulous.
fringe is, yeah, the eye is, what do you call them? Oddities.
Mhm.
But the fringe is an integral part of the lushness of the thing. And it just, I don't know.
If I could pay somebody to do fringe, and I've talked, Sherry and I have had this discussion many times. I would pay somebody to do the fringe. To me, I'd rather go hang upside down somewhere. I just hate doing fringe. That's why if you look at my pieces, you won't see fringe. You'll see a drop. I think it's gorgeous, but doing it, I don't know what I'd rather do. You don't want to know. I just think it's fabulous to do it, but
Well, I've found it to be kind of meditative.
exactly, that's what everybody says. I'm going to try fringe again. I'm going to order the kit with the eyeball and try fringe again.
The eyeball kit. Maggie, you need to talk to Laura about the eyeball kit. It's
I know.
It's a trip.
But I'll send it. You guys would finish it for me. Never mind. I shut up. Sorry.
That's cheating. That's cheating, Maggie.
It is cheating. Oh,
Eating.
I thought it was very entrepreneurial.
Kathy's got a question.
No, I have a dinner reservation at 5, which is Pacific time, and I did get to the Central time this time. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and
Bye,
everybody's,
Kathy.
and I'm missing some, I know.
Hi, Kathy.
But-
Thank you for coming.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
so
Everything
much.
was so beautiful.
Thank you so
And
much.
Have a good
Happy New
dinner.
Year, happy birthday to the birthday girl coming up.
Oh yeah. Bon compleanno.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Okay, Valerie, now it is your turn.
Hey.
Hector.
Ready? Okay, wait, I have to spotlight myself. I'm still getting used
Yes.
to add spotlight. Okay. All right, here I am. Okay, so I brought this old necklace. From maybe 2000, between 2005 and 2010. And it's back when I was first starting to go wild about these different beaded forms. And at this time, around 2000, 2002, 2005, I had been going to China quite a bit. And Laura Shea lived a few blocks from me here in Evanston. And I used to go visit her, and we would trade structures. Like I would give her the recipes for some of the structures I'd been collecting in China, like this vase, the icosahedron, of course. This one, the Wenzhou bead, I called it originally, which I found in the city of Wenzhou, in East Coast China. Oh, and this one, the cornerless cube, I gave her that. And we traded. She gave me some of her structures. One of the structures she gave me, I'm sorry, I can never remember its name, was this one. And I was so excited that we could trade and I could use, she gave me permission to use hers and I gave her permission to use mine. This is back before any of these were published. And it was just so much fun. And eventually, I don't know how it came about, but when Lois Dubin was updating her book, The History of Beads, the great big white book, she was updating it to make the second version, the second edition, and it was going to be expanded and she was going to have artists work in there. So I sent her some images and she chose this necklace for the bead timeline. And I think, I can't remember, but I think she shows the Wenzhou bead, which I explained that was invented in China. I didn't invent it. And then I think she shows this Laura Shea bead too. And again, I said, this is a Laura Shea structure. So I never thought, I'd known Lois for many years from my work with the Chicago Bead Society. I never thought that I would be able to have a piece in her book. And of course, it made me very happy. And the reason I have this necklace, I've sold pretty much all my pieces. I don't really keep my pieces because I had to make a living. I mean, so this piece I gave to my mother many years ago, and that's why I have it now. I would not have it. I would have sold it, but I think she must have loved it. So I gave it to her. And of course, it came back to me. And I'm glad to have it. I won't be selling.
Of course, you should have it. It's
I love it.
spectacular.
I love it. I know it's big. I don't care. I'm kind of a frustrated sculptor for many years.
Everybody can wear big.
I love
Skinny,
it.
a robusto, medium. We can all wear big. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody.
Yeah, I don't do small pieces. It's just not me. I do big.
If I wear small, people wonder if they think I'm sick because what's wrong with her ears, or she
You have to
maybe.
do what's right for us. Everyone has.
But I think it's people will say to me when I was selling my jewelry, "Oh, that's so big, I wouldn't wear that." And I said, "Try it on because you can wear it." And they go, "Oh, it's light."
You know what? My customers too became surprised to discover that they could wear something this large. And some of them were very much at home and that they didn't have to. It was not an issue. They just bought it. And
no, if they didn't like it, that's fine. I mean, my sister-in-law, she's like 6'1", plays basketball, and she wears tiny little teeny earrings. And I'm thinking, really?
It's her comfort level. Right.
No, Maggie, that's because she plays basketball. Maggie, it's because she's playing a sport. She can't wear an earring that's dangling when she's playing a sport.
You dribble like this.
Okay.
No, she's a good sister-in-law. I'm not complaining at all. But I just saying that anyway. And people like small earrings. I get it.
People love small earrings. Okay.
Yes. And they do.
all of us.
Beautiful. They're delicate. They're elegant, but with something I'm not. But yeah.
Laura, I think somebody just entered our meeting. You see somebody, Pat? Can you find a Pat here?
Not seeing.
Pat, do you want to participate? Do you want to turn on your camera and participate? You're welcome to.
I don't.
Your sound is off. You're muted, Pat. I guess Pat is maybe just going to
Checking it out.
check it out. Okay, that's fine. So Laura, it's your turn.
My turn?
Yeah, it's
yours, Laura.
I brought a piece. I actually brought one of my own pieces. I have very few pieces that I actually make for myself, but I did make this one for myself. And there's like a story behind it because everything has a story behind it that I make. But this one is, well, I'll tell you my story and then I'll show you the piece. When, because it seemed seasonally appropriate to tell you this one. When I was a little girl, my dad used to always tell me this story about a man and a woman, like a husband and a wife, and they didn't really have any money, and they wanted to get something nice for each other for Christmas. And so you guys probably have heard the story, but she had beautiful, beautiful long hair. And so he decided that he was going to get her a comb for her hair, because she just beautiful hair, and so he was going to buy her a comb. And then he had a watch that he loved, and he loved his watch. It was precious to him. So she decided she wanted to buy for him a watch chain for his watch. So she cut her hair to buy him the watch chain, and he sold his watch.
Man.
So, but it was like the most special presents they ever had, So I always loved it. So when a number of years ago I found, and it like reminded me of that story, I found a Victorian, it's a watch chain that's made from hair. And they used to collect, hair, and then you would make these beautiful watch chains. So what I did is I got this watch chain and I incorporated it into a necklace. I put an eye on it because of course I had to. And then this is just kind of an extension piece that I did with beads to make it long enough that it could be worn, because it's just a watch chain, so it's quite short to begin with. But it is really kind of fun. It's kind of cool, very old, and I've always had fondness for the hair jewelry and stuff.
Yeah.
Weren't those largely like memento mori?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and it's kind of cool. Like you'll see them every once in a while. I didn't know what they were for a long time, but at the antique stores, like every once in a while you go in and there's this like little vessel kind of, and it has a lid, but it has a hole in the center of it. And they would keep them on when you brush your hair, they would collect all the hair and they would keep all the hair in there. And then that's what they would use to they'd sort it out and braid it. And I have a book on how they did the braiding for it. But it's amazing. It's so so intensely fine, the braiding.
Yeah, it's
but yeah, so that's my like Christmas story necklace that
Laura, how did you attach the eye pendant to?
Yeah.
So the eye pendant, there was this piece here was part of the watch fob. And
wow.
Part of it, and it had like a ring on the bottom already on there. So I just kind of fed, beads through the loop there. So it actually was kind of like a perfect setup to do this kind of thing, when I found it. I don't know what originally would have been on there. I don't, because usually the watch goes on this end and then this end goes into the buttonhole, in the vest. That's how they'd usually wear it. So I don't know what was originally on that. It didn't have anything when I got it. So
are those macrame techniques? Is that macrame like?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like really ornate macrame. Yeah. I mean, the work is it's so incredibly fine. Like it's just what.
So stupid question. How many strands? They must have to use a lot of strands to get that thick a braid.
Yeah, they do. And what they do is they'll take it's pretty fine, but they'll take, maybe 5 or 10, I'd say 5 strands and use that as a strand when they're doing their macrame.
Okay. That's like, yeah.
Yeah. I've not done a lot of it. Like I do have a book on it. I did do a couple of pieces, commission pieces for people. And what I found is like when I did it, with the hair, I had to take wax to like bind the pieces together.
Okay.
So I would do multiple strands
like a
and
beeswax
yeah, and then braid them. And then once they were braided, then I ironed it to get the wax back out again. Because I've done not really strands like this, but I've done like braids and then put them under glass, things like that.
I would love to get the name of that book just for.
I'll have a look and see if I can find it. Yeah, it was like I got a reproduction of like an old book from the 1800s.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And are there hallmarks on the metal? I mean, is it hallmarked like?
It has stamping on it. I don't see any 10 karat or whatever on there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 10 karat gold because they use that often in 9 and 10 karat gold.
Like no initials or anything?
No initials on this one. No. no, it does have some, like if I hold it up, maybe you can see it. It is like kind of etched, but there's no initials on it. So
Yeah, it looks like a clock almost, like there was a clock motif on there.
Oh,
yeah, it's really neat. I can't even remember, like I picked it up at an antique store somewhere. I saw it and I
it's
liked it.
fabulous.
It'd
I
be
love
really
have-
interesting to find out what was hanging from that middle piece.
Yeah, it would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I don't, yeah, obviously the watch went here, this went into the, but there must have been some sort of charm.
Unless, Laura, could the
Sometimes
watch have been
coins.
hanging from that and both sides of the chain being,
I don't know. I guess that's possible too. You could have had the watch hanging from that. I mean, this is like the kind of clip that you usually see that goes into the watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
it
It
just thinking
yeah,
out.
it didn't have anything on it. You know, it didn't have a watch or anything on it when I bought it. It was just the um the
I
chain.
have my father's, I don't know where this is from, watch chain. At the hiccups. And he has the penknife from it.
Oh,
That
okay.
from it with his initials. I
Oh.
love it.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is there any kind of special care and feeding of that particular piece?
You know, with the hair, it's pretty durable. I mean, the only thing is if you have real sensitive skin, it does itch a little bit. That's what I found. Like I will wear it, but I can't wear it all the time because it's a little bit itchy. But there's nothing in particular that I've done, you know, as far as like caring for it. I keep it, it's just in a display case most of the time on a bust. But
So
But yeah.
it's I guess it's pretty robust because hair is pretty robust.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, this is, I mean, this has got to be like mid to late 1800s, so it's like 150 years old, and it's like totally intact, and it hasn't even like, I mean, the braids are very intact. You know, it hasn't frayed or anything. It's amazing. Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. It makes you wonder like whose hair it was and everything. You know, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever it was had great hair.
They did. They have excellent hair, and it really has stood the test of time too. So.
Did you take pictures of the piece for your mom?
No, I didn't. Oh my gosh. I know
Laura,
I didn't. I'll get my mom to take a picture of it on though.
Yes. Oh, that's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, I did.
That's
remember.
the hair.
Laura's been working on this piece for her father to give her mother for Christmas. Did she like it?
Loved it. Yes, she loved it. And he did too. So it was good. I scored all around. So,
Great. That's great.
yeah. But yeah, but that,
we go around one more time, Laura? You
yeah,
think?
does anyone how much time do we have? It's 10
Well, we're
past
actually
8.
overtime. Does anybody else have a second piece they'd really like to show? We'd love to see it.
I will show this, if you don't mind. And that is something, I think this is the base of the same structure that Laura Shea taught you. And I have it on a bead crochet necklace. So
Oh, lovely.
it is a truncated Icasso dodecahedron.
Yep.
But I haven't, what I haven't been able to figure out is how you are able to angle the needle to get the cubes on top.
You just don't blow it up. Keep it very soft and squishy until you install the cubes.
Oh, okay.
So
sure.
I'm a really tight beader, except with bead crochet, which is one of the reasons I really like bead crochet because
Yeah.
it's so flexible.
Don't reinforce much at all until you install, because just by installing the cubes or whatever the embellishments are on top, it reinforces itself.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I can try it.
I'm not sure if Laura has ever published that structure.
Me,
I
can
don't
answer
think so, but
Valerie,
Yeah.
I can answer that. I was a test beater for Laura, and I have all of those designs. She was working on a book with Phyllis Kaplan.
Mhm.
They were very, very close, and then Phyllis passed away. And quite frankly, Laura's have you spoken to Laura recently,
I
lately?
have not, no, not since she left Evanston and we kind of, slowly
She's-
fell out of
She's in
touch.
Colorado. Um, she's pretty much bedbound. And although she's still beading, and periodically she gets on with the group there are a group of us that started a Zoom thing. We're in Chicago. Basically, we were city bead people.
Ah,
And Laura started joining us, but the book never got published, and it's really very sad because there are some fabulous I have them all, and I've done a lot of the structures in crystal because that's what she was working in, and just fabulous stuff.
It would be a service to the world if that book were published.
yeah. If in some way it could, yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Well, next time I talk to her, I'll tell her that, her name came up and that we'd love to have the patterns out there.
And yeah, only
Maybe
if
there's
it-
a way we could collectively help her with the publishing, the beadings. There's so many of us out there that, that would be a GoFundMe that I would definitely contribute to.
me too. You're
Yeah.
right.
I will let her know. I'll let her know.
Yeah, I mean, I started beading these geometric patterns pretty late. I'm retired from a totally different kind of career, and I am just so enjoying all the geometric shapes that I can find. So, I would love to meet her.
And you're actually inventing your own structures too, Becca, because you shared a number of them with me. And so you're innovating. And I think Laura would love to meet you, and you would love to meet her because you're coming up with new structures, just
Yeah.
variations.
I mean, but all of you are innovating too.
We all are. Everybody does because we love what we do,
Yeah.
The beads are fun and they
Exactly.
want to be played with. Beads want to be played with,
Yeah, exactly.
Got that right.
But
Camille,
Laura would have.
Camille, did you have something there? I thought I saw something.
Oh, wow.
We're coming. Okay. And this one.
Now that is luscious.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, 1 second. Remove this one. Okay, we
Yeah.
got.
Is it sepia?
Oh,
Nope, it's just largely Evans. It's just a netting stitch, which you can't really tell on top of Hazmat Santa since it's red, but yeah.
It looks, what's the, and is it Weechel?
Rachel.
Oh, the Rachel. I love the Rachel stitch. And
Yeah.
I've got great.
Yeah.
But, it's politically incorrect, I guess, to call it.
You know what?
Weechel.
I got to the same problem with my War of the Roses necklace because I used Rachel. I can tell you honestly, I really get very sick of it because honestly, I have seen so many in traveling to Murano pieces from the 1700s that were Rachel stitch. They were netting. They were a form of netting. You're not trying to pass it off as Weechel. You're not saying this isn't a Weechel stitch, a Weechel necklace.
Yeah.
It's a stitch. That's my feeling, and I have gotten into a little bit of trouble because of that. But I do believe that all stitches. Another thing is the Weechel. Some of them they do the hold up into wax, and they're fabulous masks. I don't know if you've seen them where they do the bead, the hole is up.
Bead mosaic.
Yeah,
Right,
bead mosaic.
right on the end.
In Murano, there's a little tiny church somewhere it's from like the 1700s, and it's a picture of the Madonna with the holes up. So I don't want to discredit them. I believe what they're doing, but
Well,
I learned the Weechel stitch from a Weechel person who wants to keep it alive.
And no argument with you on that, Maggie. I think the problem came about when somebody presented a piece as being Weechel, and instead of saying this is based on the Weechel stitch,
Right.
they called it
Right.
Weechel.
And that's fine.
Mm.
I know that I actually taught to another instructor and they got a lot of grief for it, calling the Weechel stitch, because that is what it is in terms of how we know it. But we're not trying to replicate Weechel artwork.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm getting political. I should shut my mouth.
Stitches have gone by many, many names so that you could do a whole
Yes.
book. You could take one stitch and trace its usage around the world and all the different names it has gone by, not just in English, but in other languages.
Other languages,
These
exactly.
names have nothing to do with one another. These are just how we name, somebody names it, the names gets current, other people
Exactly.
start to learn it, and we call it the Huichol stitch. You know, there's no harm is meant, you know?
Exactly.
So I don't, to me, it was news because when I learned it, it was called Mexican lace. Okay. It wasn't
Wow.
Huichols, it was called Mexican lace.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
who named it Mexican lace in 1970 or 71 when I got my first book on beading and taught
Was that
myself?
Horace
Called
Goodhue?
no, it was called Simply Beads.
Okay.
And somewhere I
Yes.
had it here. Simply
Yeah.
beadwork from around the world, all
But
these
I mean,
different techniques. Somebody
Well,
named it Mexican
this-
lace, okay, but that's only one of its
and
many
it is.
names. It's gone by many names over the years.
Exactly.
You know, it
It's like
doesn't
when I first started beading Endobelly, we called it Endobelly. Now it's herringbone.
No,
Everybody,
we
right.
called it, no. When
happy.
Virginia Blakelock first published it, she was the first. And I think it was 1988. She called it Endobelly herringbone. That was her name. And then
Really?
people started
Okay.
naturally calling it either Endobelly or herringbone. But it was she who named it Endobelly herringbone. She was the first to publish it and to analyze it. Okay, and
Yeah.
her diagrams were like very basic, but you could follow them.
Yes, she could.
Her,
Absolutely.
her Xerox pages were pink. They're fuchsia.
Can you imagine? You
They're
remember
bright
those
fuchsia.
Xerox?
Okay, and somewhere I've got her book.
I do too. And her hand-drawn beads. Hand-drawn beads, which I
Yes,
did
they're
the first
hand-drawn
time I
beads.
started teaching. All my beads were hand-drawn. Oh God, oh
And
my
that's
God.
fine,
Not.
but we don't know what the Endobelly people call this technique, if they even
No.
had a name for this technique. They
And
let it bead stitching. We don't know. No one's done it. You know?
I don't want to insult any culture. I believe in, you know, but I did this necklace. I didn't mean to bring up another necklace, but here I am. No, but this is the War of the Roses necklace, and I did the Weechel stitch. Where am I? Okay, to get these flowers building off of it with peyote. So theoretically, I've used the Weechel stitch. And according to someone that I had a discussion with, I shouldn't have done it.
Well, no, wait. What should you have done instead?
Well, this is it. And I called it the Weechel stitch. That's what it was. But I'm not trying to create some of their sacred animals or anything. So I have a real problem with cultural appropriation. Anyway, shut up, Mike.
Using a
At the end of the
name.
day, there is no brand new bead stitch. You know,
Everything.
if I can come up with it, somebody a gazillion years ago has come up with it.
Actually, are brand new bead stitches. Okay.
Yeah.
But for the most part, these are just that we're all just doing variations of ancient techniques.
Yes.
But there
Yeah.
are some.
And imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah, no one means any harm by it. And you know, Maggie, I don't think anyone should have taken issue with your using a technique named
Oh, yeah, I got to a big issue, but yeah.
called it Mexican lace. Would that have been an issue too? I mean, and if so,
I don't know. It'd be
Oh.
interesting to put it out there again and say this is Mexican lace stitch.
Right.
So I think people are
It was-
confused about, you know, about all these issues. People
Yeah.
don't understand, you know.
I would certainly never want to take away from any culture that has a bead stitch that is to them and how they use it in a design.
Yeah.
But a stitch is a freaking stitch.
Well, yeah, and in fact, you know, this huichol stitch or whatever we want to call it, Mexican lace goes back to the ancient Egyptians, right?
Yes.
500 BC,
Yes.
give or take, that we know of, and it's probably a lot.
Can I toss in a comment here? As
Sure.
a fellow artist, I make glass beads,
Mhm.
and I don't work with seed beads, but I make glass beads, and she works with them. I have run into people over the years who want to patent a design for a glass bead. There
One of his
is
beads.
that's a cabochon I made for her. There is nothing new under the sun.
Right.
And all of this, you can't call it that because it belongs to, that's just ridiculous. You know, these things have been around for thousands of years.
Right.
People are always messing with them. We're always messing with them. And there's no reason why you shouldn't do that.
And people will mess with them long after we're gone.
They're going to keep on going. And, you know, the bottom line is there's nothing absolutely new under the sun.
No, I agree with you. And
Yeah.
I also will say that
Very true.
people that I lived in Italy for 5 years and then have visited every year since almost. There are secrets on the island of Murano.
Oh, yes. I'm familiar with the Moranis
I'm
and their
sure
secret
you are.
places.
I'm sure you are. Okay. My theory is they all have the freaking same recipe for adventuring. It's just
They
they
do.
put it under a different thing. Okay. I'm not I want to support them and I want this to continue. But the only way Italy is famous for claiming something and then never letting it continue. They own it. Cameo carving. They own it. And as a result, it gets lost. It gets lost.
Yeah. Yeah. If people refuse to release any information, if you can microanalyze something, then you can recreate it. But all of these techniques get lost if you don't share them.
And Tiffany died with all of his glass formulas and never let anybody have any. And I don't know that has served anything.
It doesn't. And I had a mosaic teacher in Italy, and she was one of the first people who said, if I don't share this technique with you, ancient and modern, it's all going to be gone. And that is what we should all be doing, in my opinion.
Absolutely true.
And one of the things when I was there, one of the things that really struck me was all of the mosaics. And that's one of the reasons why I love your work. But one of the things that I wanted to do with it was take it and turn it into bead embroidery. Instead of doing schmaltzy out of schmaltzy, just do a series of, white colored bead and then use another color, to make little squares and, sort of mosaic a bead embroidery piece. I haven't done it yet, but it's one of the things.
There's time yet. There's time.
Yeah,
You can
I'm not dead
definitely do that. When
I
I
want to turn that into
studied,
Marini.
pardon?
I want to turn all those designs into Marini and glass.
And why shouldn't you? Because
I'm working on it.
this keep going. So yeah, good for you. I studied mosaics in Ravenna for quite a few years. And the beauty of mosaics is you can do a rose pattern in multicolors and you see the pattern. You can also do it in all white, and it's all about the line. You will see the same rose because the lines are there. Okay, so that taught me a lot about beadwork. Somebody said to me, "Oh, you can't do Solomon's knot in beadwork. You can't do it."
Yeah, you can.
And, yeah, exactly. But anyway, that's
it's all in the way you look at things, and everybody looks at things differently.
it's all in the way you want to share. I'm happy to share anything. I have no problem
You were the
sharing.
first, Maggie. You were the first that I know of.
Pardon?
You were the first to attempt to do a Solomon's knot in beadwork and to succeed.
Yeah,
Right.
Because somebody told me you can't do it.
Well, and in their mind, they couldn't do it. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. In the famous word.
But why shouldn't we share these things amongst each other? Whether it's mosaics, whether it's glass bead making, which
I think
give you a lot of credit. I took a glass bead making class. Okay, now I collect them because it's like doing this. Okay, with fire. All right, and I kept screaming. And my teacher said, "You can't do that. You're disrupting the other students." I said, "But it's helping. I can't do it." He asked me to leave.
Oh,
And he was right to do so. Now I collect them. Anyway.
so I think most artists want to share and are open to sharing. I do know, I can think of one in particular who refused to share, and I don't really see the point, because people can figure out what she did and how she's done it. And so
it's one thing to share a design that somebody else has paid for. It's another thing to share your techniques and your knowledge and your, how you approach a design.
But at the end of the day, as soon as you put a piece out there, if there's a picture out there, somebody will figure out how to reverse engineer it. But whatever their hands make is not going to be what I would make, what you would make, what anybody else would make. There's always going to be some subtle difference in the end product that is going to identify it as not the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's terribly well accepted a lot of places.
But all of our work is unique.
Yeah.
Even if we're looking at somebody else's design and trying to replicate it, our work is still absolutely unique to us.
Well, I'm not necessarily suggesting doing that.
Comes from here. It comes from deep within. It's just you learn the technique from somebody else how to create your vision. That's
always been the fun of taking beadwork classes to me, is it's not so much that I wind up with a particular widget at the end of the class as much as how I learn to manipulate and the ways that I can take the learning of that manipulation and translate it into something that I want to do that will be uniquely mine.
Right. You learn how to think about a certain technique.
You're a teacher's dream. Okay.
Or a teacher's pain in the ass, one of the two.
Laura. I don't know about you, Laura, but when I would go into a class and somebody would ask permission for a class they paid for, "Can I try this?" And I said, "Of course you can try it. My only thing is it may not work. And then I'm not responsible." No, I didn't say that. But it does boil down to that. If I'm willing to try it with you, as long as you know it may not work. Yeah. Why not?
The other side of that, and to Camille's point, one of the things that I'm finally learning, I can give myself permission, is to take a class and not finish the piece.
Yeah.
Because hey, I took the class and I got something, or there was an element.
Yeah, you learned something in that class that made that class worth to you more than the widget that was the project. And
how many pieces of jewelry do we need? I've started playing around with a lot with geometric forms and stuff like that because I've got cabinets full of this stuff.
That's what I absolutely love about Laura's masterclass.
Yeah.
Is because we know how to create components, but you also have permission. That's you need it, but I'm saying it takes it in a different thing. And that's what a masterclass or any class other than beginner or advanced beginner should be.
They teach you how to
agree with the master class.
But ask me how I really feel.
That's the permission and being able to
Maggie, I don't know,
to do that.
What do you think, Laura?
No, I agree. I mean, it's all like, I don't know. You take a little bit of everything from someone and make it your own. That's kind of like the ultimate goal, I think, as an artist. Is, you can't come up with anything that's uniquely yours other than it's coming uniquely from you, and so that's going to have that filter on it every time. It'll be different because of you.
Because of you, and yet you have I see a Laura McCabe piece and I know it's a Laura McCabe piece.
Yeah, well, that because it's got an eye in it, and so it's Laura.
not even
An eyeball.
You said the
giveaway. Yeah,
I can pick hers out.
You can see all the artists. I can look at a Maggie piece, and just it's a Maggie piece, and and Melanie Potter and all of them. You can see all the different pieces.
All Cynthia
there's a
Rutledge, all
flair.
of us, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, and Valerie with those doughy head. God Almighty, I love those beads that you made. Valerie, no, the structure of those, and because Valerie and I did shows together for how many years? Good many years.
Years.
Unfortunately, do you mind me telling this story, Valerie?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, in West Palm Beach, her jewelry was stolen. All of it out of the trunk of her car.
Oh my God.
And we all, Valerie and I and Carol Tripp, always went to dinner afterwards or whatever. And she came back and everything was gone. And she had, I think, the Smithsonian in a month, perhaps.
Yes.
And Carol and I said, we'll help you. And Carol got people to help her. And when she sent us the instructions, and you should definitely get the instructions for some of these beads. They're incredible. When I took the instructions and learned about it, I thought, my God, this is unbelievable. I get this. This is like, in other words, the way she does it and the way she downsizes and the way she works the tension, I'm telling you, I could throw a piece of bead across your head, Nancy, and you'd be knocked out. But that was the strength of what her thing was.
I've done some of Valerie's classes.
Yeah, but that's why she's a national treasure, because of that. So each of us, I think, bring
Swedish and German heritage. I need them to be well made. It makes me happy to know I've made something.
They are well made, but I don't know many, particularly show artists, that would go to that length to make that piece.
Well,
that's structurally sound.
Thank you. Actually, some of the metalwork was, equally.
Right. You do metalwork too. God bless.
Getting the metalwork to go together with the beadwork, that was.
Valerie, I still have some of the frames and when you were doing the
yes,
peyote and then.
Gosh, I
they're
remember
part of my stash. One of these days.
Yeah.
I remember that, and I was living in Italy, and a friend of mine from Seattle sent me this article. It says, "Look at this woman. She is the next thing coming up in the bead world." And it was Valerie with her beads. Yeah.
Oh, that was the ornament article. That was like, I don't
ornament
know.
Article.
That was
yes.
early days,
Yeah. I know, but it was fantastic. So.
And I read about.
Say goodbye.
Laura,
I need to dash off.
Hey, listen, thanks all of you for coming. This has been great. And I love
it. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for doing it.
Thank you for joining.
This is really a great thing.
Thank you. This was great.
So next month we're gonna do, what are we doing, Laura?
We're doing sculptural pieces.
Right. Any kind of sculptural piece, sculptural brooch, sculptural necklace, sculptural sculpture. What else, Maggie?
Sculptural sculpture.
Yeah. Anything sculptural. I mean, vessels, whatever you feel.
Everything. Yep.
Headbands.
I would like, if I may just inject this, I wouldn't even mind a little mixed media thrown in. Is that too much to ask?
We can mix media. Why not? Okay, fine. I'll bring some. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Nice.
Then you can't see this. I'll save this for the next one.
Okay.
Well, listen, you guys are the best.
That's January 31st, and I will send out the notice sooner than I did this month. I just got tied up with the holidays, but I'll do it sooner, so you guys will have more time to prepare or think about what you want to do. But anything goes, and we'll just have the same format next month. And Laura will lead us again, right, Laura?
Oh yeah.
Anything that you put on Facebook, please do it so we can share.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think my standard is it. So yeah, I will. How
do we make it so that you can share it?
I can show you, Valerie, with the post. There's a way you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'll share so that perhaps we'll get some more people involved if
that's
what you want.
I think this is great for a holiday weekend, but yeah, no, I agree.
If you
So-
email me again, because we're gonna have a different Zoom link every time we do the meeting. So,
Right.
you know, so if you want to be in the next one, email me. If you want, I can even keep like a permanent, like, you know, I want to be in all of them list. Yeah. So yeah, just if you guys want that, email be like, I'm on the frequent flyer list, and I'll make sure that.
Yeah, I think it's a.
But
a
did you make
wonderful-
the pecans?
I haven't made the pecans yet. No, I'm going to though. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Laura, I have to tell you, I've got a bunch of eyeballs in my collection now.
Oh,
I'm trying to work into my cloisonne and metalwork.
Oh, awesome. Oh, excellent. Excellent. You can never have too many eyeballs, really.
No, I think I've got about a dozen in here.
in fact, as I've aged, I would like a few more around the back of my head, side, and even the corner ones here. Anyway,
And your fingers.
so all right. Well,
Guys,
We'll see. Fun, guys. I guess we should
Thank you
close
so
the-
much.
Thank you.
well, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. It's been
Bye.
a great.
Thank you. Bye.
Night,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thank you for coming. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.